Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we are going over if the MX650 dirt bike from Razor is a good deal for the price and what are some pros and cons of owning it. The footage you're going to be seeing is just me riding around and testing it out. I do think this is a really good bike, especially for beginners. So let's get right into what you need to know about before you buy. So one thing is the MX650 is a pretty good price for an e-bike. You can get them used for about $200 to $400, but you could also get them brand new for about $650, which while this is a lot of money, with the amount of upgrades available for it, you can really build this bike into whatever you want it to be. Which kind of leads us into the next pro of owning it, which is of course the moddability. You can do new suspension, new motor, new batteries, pretty much whatever you could think of. There's someone selling a kit for this bike, and if it doesn't exist, you can build it yourself. I've seen all sorts of crazy Razor builds. You can see a ton on YouTube, and that's kind of what I'm planning on doing with mine. But they're also really fun stock. So all the footage you're gonna see here is of a stock Razor MX650, no modifications at all other than that pad you'll see on the handlebars, because the stock one is not very strong. Another pro of owning it is that there's a huge community for these. Whether you're a kid looking to make some friends or you're an adult looking to talk about modding it, there's tons of people out there all building these bikes and riding them. So it's very easy to find people in your local community who have these and ride them because they're very common. Another pro is that out of the box, it does come with off-road tires, and they actually aren't the worst tires I've ever seen. They seem to get pretty good traction off-road in my experience, but they also aren't bad on the road either. So that's one great pro of these. But one downside is they aren't super grippy in sand, I've noticed. You really seem to lose traction in those situations, but obviously if you're buying this bike and you're planning on riding sand, you're probably gonna modify it. So with that, let's go on to some of the cons, and the first one is the stock ride time. So it only goes for about 40 minutes stock, which might seem like a lot until you have an empty weekend where you want to go riding, and suddenly you have to wait 6 hours between each ride to charge up your bike just to get 40 minutes of run time out of it. Now, obviously, you can buy a new battery, preferably a lithium battery, and that will fix this problem, but it's just an extra step to get you to where you want to be. Another con of this bike is the stock suspension. It bottoms out really easily in jumps. The what do they call it? The little rubber buckets on the ends of the front fork fall off really easy and crack. The front fork is super noisy. You'll hear it in this video whenever I hit jumps or go off a curb. You'll hear that metal banging against itself, and that's just because of how easily this suspension bottoms out. Obviously, it's made for little kids to ride it, so one of your first upgrades is going to be either bigger springs or completely new suspension. Another con of this bike is out of the box, it's really hard to wheelie. You see me in this video trying to get it to pop up. I couldn't get it to pop up without using my feet, and once I had it up, it struggled to stay up. And the reason for this is another con. The stock throttle takes about half a second to respond after you throttle it, which is super annoying, and on top of it only being a half twist throttle instead of a full twist throttle makes the riding experience really uncomfortable. Another con of this bike is the stock grips. They're super uncomfortable. They scuff up your hands. So wearing gloves, if you're using the stock grips, is a must. That's about it for the pros and cons. I'm gonna go into why I think the Razor MX650 dirt bike is the best dirt bike for beginners. So if you are about 12 to 16 years old and you don't really have a lot of dirt bike experience, this is the perfect bike to learn on. It's slow, it has similar geometry to a real dirt bike, and if you're planning on one day owning an e-bike like a Suron or Talaria E-Ride Pro, learning the throttle and learning how to ride is a great place to start. And if you want to learn how to wheelie, how to stunt, you can do that on this bike, even though it is a little difficult. It's also a great place to start if you're learning how to work on electric drive trains. Obviously, I learned how to work on electric drivetrains on my crazy cart. You guys have seen some other videos, and that learning experience has taught me a lot. And I think a lot of these skills will really help me out in the future, especially with a lot of these dirt bike companies starting to produce more electric bikes and this really becoming a market. So that's about all for my video. The rest of this is just gonna be me popping wheelies, so hope you guys enjoy it.